Welcome to Radiant Health. This is the fifth in the first 5 series of this workshop where we explore and amplify and bask in Baba's message to us, where he asks us, directs us with his authority that he wants his lovers to be Baba centers personified, radiating his eternal message of love divine, living a life of love, sacrifice, honesty, and of course, so much more of those divine attributes. So the Radiant Health series has that as its underlying mission and vision from our dear beloved avatar, Meher Baba. And this series, this session today, is going to just allow Baba, as he does so masterfully at all times, but we get to be aware of it and put our consciousness on it in this moment. Allow the words from the life of the spirit, where Baba says that our body becomes a vehicle, an instrument for the kingdom of heaven coming down on earth. So I'm going to read that quote, and as always, as you know how to do so well, take deep breaths into this precious body, since that's the subject of this precious human form. And in this world of forms where we're expressing in this moment truth, capital T truth, purity, beauty, and love, the divine game. So we're playing the divine game together. Dear people who are live with us and who watch it via recording. And as you just relax in and let the avatar have his way with you, I think that's a beautiful sentiment. In this moment, just relaxing every bit of your body. Consciously, if you need to just tighten and relax your jaw or your shoulders or your hips or your feet. Imagine tightening and relaxing your spinal cord. I don't even know how to do that, but I just saw that visual. So we can just direct it so our spinal cord can relax and the cerebral spinal fluid, the elixir of information and fluid, can send to our whole body so you can receive this, not just with your spirit, not just with your mind, not just with your soul, but with your precious human form. And these are the words of Avatar Meher Baba from Life of the Spirit and Discourses. If the body yields to the claims of the spirit as it should, it is instrumental in bringing down the kingdom of heaven on earth. It becomes a vehicle for the release of divine life. And when it subserves this purpose, it might aptly be called the temple of God on earth. And I'm going to let Baba read that again to you, share that through my voice, but it's coming directly from him, talking to you and your mind and your body and your spirit. If your body yields to the claims of your spirit, as it should, it is instrumental in bringing down the kingdom of heaven on earth. It becomes a vehicle for the release of divine life. And when it subserves this purpose, it might aptly be called the temple of God on earth. Instrumental. Let the word instrumental, the body is instrumental, like an instrument. And let the concept as you know it of being an instrument permeate through your consciousness. through the cells of your body, through the energy structures of your body and the auric field. And let yourself be aware of and imagine all the other instruments beating on this planet right now, sounding, vibrating in the vast symphony called humanity, called life. And then letting your imagination and your consciousness go to the words, Kingdom of Heaven. What does the kingdom of heaven mean to you? What do you feel? Breathe in the experience of being in the kingdom of heaven right now, connecting to your oversoul, your highest self, in that realm. And then keeping the link, the conscious link to the awareness of the kingdom of heaven as you're experiencing it. Become tenderly and fully aware of your body as this instrument, this vehicle that is capable of the release of divine life. And let your body in this moment, this vehicle, this conduit, let it release divine life into the layers of your being. And then with each breath and each intention and the creative power of your imagination, radiate that release of divine life to all that is. And then as this instrument, this beautiful body of yours brings down the kingdom of heaven on earth, releasing this divine life, let yourself know it and call it. Call your precious human form. Proclaim it, the temple of God on earth. And with your mind's eye, go through your body and see this temple. See the radiant golden light or whatever colors you see, and whatever you associate with the temple of God, the purest, highest temple of God. Let your body organize itself so that you can see it as it is. And then, if you wish, you can let this temple of God on earth merge in time and space with the Baba Center that you know, whether in India or Australia or California or Myrtle Beach or wherever, Prague. If you so wish, let one come into your mind's eye and let the temple of Baba, Baba's temple, as you know it in your form, merge and integrate in the highest light of our beloved avatar. And as this temple of God merged with the highest of the high, burst and radiate like an infinite sun, a bright transcendental sun that radiates through your form, through your home, through your community, through your country, through your continent, through the earth, with such natural momentum and joy, letting yourself rest and relax in your natural state. And I'm going to sing a line of a chant this moment that goes, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. From the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, I love you completely, yes, my soul says yes. And in the energy of the divine yes, retaining this feeling, this experience with you for the rest of your experiences as you begin to take deep breaths, conscious breaths into this form, noticing any sensations, any messages from any of the cells or systems of your body. And then whenever you feel called over the next moment or two, bring yourself back into normal waking consciousness and open your eyes, letting the sense of sight and the information from your eyes delight your soul and delight your mind, delight your spirit. And then as you come back and you come fully into this moment in time, the eternal now, as Baba says, not the fleeting now. He says the eternal now that has all the momentum and aliveness and creativity of the infinite God. And this eternal now, bringing yourself into awareness of the community that has gathered in time and space, no matter where you are in this moment that you're receiving this. You're part of a community. Internal links being built, as Baba says. Notice how you're feeling. And I'm going to ask the question, what does the kingdom of heaven feel like to you, look like to you, mean to you? And that's what we're going to explore with sharing tonight. You're so willing, of bringing to clarity, bringing to voice, vibration, to hearing and listening, what the kingdom of heaven means. When I first contemplated this, at first I just saw a big blank. And I think that might be the nothing of the nothing and the everything. And so feel free to unmute yourselves as we are in this portion of the evening tonight, and share what the kingdom of heaven means to you.
It means God's delight. Just participating with God in the experience of life, which is kind of unimaginable, but it sounds pretty good.
I love that, God's delight.
I just think it's more than I can, it's more wonderful than I can possibly imagine, but I imagine it's pretty good.
In the portion of the meditation, the guided meditation with the words, did you have any experience of when you were at the kingdom of heaven? Did you see anyone or anything or feel anything?
Yeah, I felt, it felt like this world, kind of where I am, but everything was brighter. everything was brighter, more light for everything. It just everything felt alive. Everything, yeah.
I like that. When I experienced the kingdom of heaven in this experience here, what I experienced was like welcoming the kingdom of heaven to me felt like what you described was like this world, but so much more quicker, like instantaneous manifestation, communion of souls and beings and joy, multitudinous activities going on in symphonic like orchestration, a sense of permeating joy and purpose and awareness and deep compassion and caring for the earth realm and for the whatever happens in the kingdom of heaven that I experienced in this beginning part of the meditation felt like such a vibrating, almost like Santa's workshop with the elves making toys for Christmas, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with the making of the candy for everyone, like just this devotion of service and joy for those. And I imagined also a place where new souls were deciding to come back, and the conviviality of the going away party, or the journey back to earth, and like so much delight about those that were ready to go. And in this moment, I just had, although it's kind of a dark reference, but of like the virgins that would be sacrificed on the mountain, like maybe some of them were really happy to be sacrificed for the benefit of the community. And maybe when we're coming down, there's some of that devotion, like I'm going back in and I'm going to forget a lot. I heard this quote recently or this idea that when we incarnate, we drink of oblivion, which is the forgetting of where we come from. And that oblivion is also intensely pleasurable. And the more we drink of oblivion, or the pleasure of that, the more we forget where we come from. And I think that like an incarnating soul, that must be like how I might feel only having one potato chip, not more, like to be able to go through that process, to know if I can come through the other side and take less of the forgetting, so I can remember my links to where I came. So that's my share of what the kingdom of heaven felt like and feels like to me in this moment. And anyone else is welcome to share as well. Encouraged, in fact.
I don't know. I was hoping it would be this blissful experience, because at times I have felt a blissful experience. And I didn't have any imagination with it, because I was just settling in, and it just felt like light and airy in my body, even though I had like these pains. For some reason, these pains were coming in my body. And I'm like, well, that's not the kingdom of heaven. But but the surrounding of it, like just held it, like that lightness just held even the pain. So I just breathed into them, and they're more like arthritic pain is really what was going on. And I just breathed into it, but that sense that I was surrounded in what I will sometimes call a cloud of love. And that's what the kingdom of heaven felt like to me today. And then what's really strange is you brought up the virgins. Well, I was just working with someone earlier today who had this very sacrificial energy, like this experiences that she was having, that it was time for her to let go of those that she was sacrificing herself. And I remember a trip to Peru, and in the ruins in Lima, that we visited these ruins in Lima that used to hold the convents for the young women who were being cultivated to be the sacrifice. And it was such an incredible thing. So it's that for them, it was like a convent, and they were just, they were served meals, and they were treated like, just pure beings, because they were going to be then in that purification be offered to the gods. So they had to be the purest of the pure, in a sense. Right. So, I mean, I was relating that to her karma, this woman's karma of sacrificing, being sacrificed. But it's so funny that you mentioned that. Like, wow, that's kind of strange. I wonder what that has to do with.
And it just popped in too. I hadn't thought about it before that moment when I was sharing. And I think the word sacrifice, that comes from the Latin root to make holy, sacra, holy, and facer, to make holy, and to elevate, to call on supernatural powers, the power of the greater, to elevate. And I think that we might have a notion of sacrifice being some martyrdom, victim consciousness, heavy, awful price to pay for loving God. And I think to elevate the truth of what sacrifice means, when Baba says, I want my lovers to be Baba centers personified, radiating my eternal message of love divine, living a life of love, sacrifice, honesty. I think that to make holy, and your vision of having the lightness holding the pain, like to make that holy too, and how the kingdom of heaven might hold our pain for us in that light. I think that's really beautiful and important for me as a former Catholic. I guess I always joke, and I know you know this, Marlene, that I'm Catholic like I'm Irish and Italian. But to bring that even in the Baba community, sometimes I've noticed that I can jump on a bandwagon of elevating my suffering that's coming more from my ego than coming from the true service to making holy my body experiences. So any part that I can dissolve that attachment to, that unnecessary suffering is somehow godly. Necessary suffering, I'll go for it. Unnecessary suffering, I don't think Baba wants us to unnecessarily suffer. I mean, I believe he said that too. So.
Yeah, I believe that. But there is a certain amount of suffering that is inevitable, and I think that Marlene's mentioning the pain held in a cloud of love. I think that sounds like Baba. That sounds like the kingdom of heaven, and it reminds me of Baba after the car accidents. He was in pretty much constant pain, but he was also in bliss as well, being Baba, the pain and bliss. And I think that we're embracing all when we accept that the kingdom of heaven is going to include pain. And it does include pain, but it's held in love and in the cloud of Baba's love. And that's awesome. Yeah, and it's not, the kingdom of heaven is not as Disney version. The kingdom of heaven is very real, but it's the reality held by God within, and that makes it all very, not just bearable, but exquisite.
Would anyone else like to share what the kingdom of heaven means to them or feels like to them?
I would. I'm very focused on when Baba spoke in a mystical language, Sundarina Machabeli. And this particular, what it brings to mind are these words, and they're so simple, and I've just been trying to absorb them. No, it's so, it says, see me live in you in small ways of life, the everyday ritual of selfless harmony. And then it says, the unsatisfied element in you is God, who wants you to be like him. And then this is puzzling. It goes, unsatisfied humor is God when winning in you the dual way of I. The dual way of I. Anyway, it's such simple wording, but I don't think so much of a kingdom, and usually I could relate to kingdom, but as far as Baba and us being our radiating center, when Baba said, you and I are not we but one. So, but then to hear it in these really simple words, and for some reason it's just, how can you concentrate? I've been concentrating for weeks on this little line, and I thought, there's just such beauty to it. See me live, and especially now that it's more alone time. Like I was invited to Thanksgiving dinner with 10 people. I don't want to go to that. I'd like to be with people. I'd like to share with people, but I don't want to go. So it's interesting. But see me live in you in small, so it's like small ways of life, the everyday ritual, brushing our teeth, whatever, to speak of taking care of the temple, of selfless, and I love that, selfless harmony. Selfless harmony. If we weren't thinking of ourselves all the time, and we're thinking of our real self, we'd go more towards harmony. Anyway, it's just like, Baba said it was the mystical language is the most direct way he could speak. And interesting, he chose English. And that was not Nerina Machiavelli's native language. She was Italian, So there's something interesting that it came through in English. But I think in this particular, and this came through like in the late 30s, 1938 to 1942. That's a long time ago. So it's been this incredible resource in plain sight, like hidden in plain sight. And I think, and Baba said, you won't understand it with the mind because it's not speaking to the mind. It's speaking to the heart, So I really think it's the kingdom of God for me would be to come into more of an intuition. I'm raised Catholic too. I'm raised very Catholic, I'm Catholic, Jewish, German.
I like when you were sharing those words, thank you so much for bringing them. I could feel the billowing energy of that cloud that Marlene was talking about, the cloud of love. that what it means for our bodies to be instrumental in bringing down the kingdom of heaven on earth is the most natural billowing process in the simplicity, in the, see me, live me, in the small everyday rituals, in the selfless harmony. I mean, I
Yes,
feel that as not a tall order, but maybe a soft order.
oh, it's so powerful though. It's like I don't want to necessarily feel Baba in some grand way. Of course, that would be great. I could have a vision or something, but I want to know he's with me, really, that he is me all the time. He says we're not separate, we're one. So who am I kidding? So now I have all this alone time doing my little rituals, and of selfless harmony. They could be selfless harmony. And I think when Baba says things like, his first calling card to me was, don't worry, be happy. I am one worried Catholic, but
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to share what the kingdom of heaven means to them, what they feel or see with that?
Are we referring to the body as the kingdom?
Yes. The quote is from Life of the Spirit that says, if the body yields to the claims of the spirit as it should, it is instrumental in bringing down the kingdom of heaven on earth. It becomes a vehicle for the release of divine life. And when it subserves this purpose, it might aptly be called the temple of God on earth.
Wow. I think it's a bit of significant for me, particularly today, because there's a process called focusing. I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but it's kind of a one-on-one, almost like a therapy, where you really concentrate on what the body is telling you, and you try to, I don't know if it's bypassing the mind, but you really just try to feel where you're feeling something, what you're feeling, and try to make an imagery of it, and then give some words to it at the end, but you try to honor that original feeling first. And so I had my first session today, and it was I found it very interesting, very so it's just treating the body as the original source of information, I guess, and that's kind of neat.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that. I haven't heard that modality called focusing, but I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Focusing.
Yeah, I'm about to embark on a 2-year program of it, starting January, and this was just kind of a preliminary. There's going to be a couple preliminary sessions prior to starting, so yeah, I think it's going to be really good.
Beautiful. I like that. And then the energy that just of the life of the spirit, that quote from Baba's Discourses, and the life of the spirit, to infuse that through your whole 2-year experience. You coming tonight, I can feel the energy of you then being a conduit for that in your experience and whoever you touch in that world.
Right.
I just had this huge opening of my crown chakra and tingling all the way down. It feels really cool.
That's awesome.
When that happens, we can focus on my crown chakra. Mm-hmm.
Body's a source of all kinds of sensations. I mean, I think that there's sensations of lust, but also divine urges as well. And I think we just have to take a pause to feel, in a sense, what a particular sensation is, what it's telling us. And I think we have that ability to discern that.
So let's bask in that right now, that relationship with our divine self, our soul, our spirit, which is the incarnated part of our soul, our body, this temple of God on earth, our precious mind and all of existence. So we'll complete with it the next few moments of the energy of the beginning. Is this meditation that Bob is bringing is still fully present and to us, and to allow ourselves to bask in it. So I'm gonna mute again and just invite you to be with this friend called your body, this loving flower that holds the experience of your soul, your spirit in this lifetime. And if you'd like to close your eyes and just take some breaths that you imagine coming in from 360 degrees up through your feet, through your back, through your crown, every bit of your body, and imagine, let Baba be in your presence so fully, and you see him in your mind's eye with such 100% unconditional love and compassion, such admiration and devotion to you for your willingness to subserve this purpose of releasing the divine life in this moment and in every moment. And let Baba breathe into you and exhale. Let him orchestrate, play, and direct your breath, and letting it bring you everything you need for the highest and healthiest experience of you. And on the out breath, let Baba clear everything unnecessary away. Let the grace of the avatar have his way with you with your full consent in this moment. And then let yourself imagine Baba coming to you and embracing you. And this being the most tender, most fulfilling union, fulfillment of your deepest longings as Baba takes you into his arms and pulls you close and envelops you in an infinite cloud of bliss, of love, of vibrating, radiant hope. And drink this moment in and revel in it so that you will remember it. And then let Baba whisper something into your ear, a message or a word for you. And then retaining the energy of this moment and the presence of Baba with you at all times. Take some deep breaths and gently bring yourself back. With the sensation of Baba's touch on your form, the sound of his voice, his eternal voice in your being, and the strength of his eternal connection with you. And then open your eyes whenever you're ready. And if anyone would like to share the message, you don't have to, it's kind of an intimate thing. I will share what Baba said to me is that I love you. And with authority and declaration, he said, and you are mine.
For me, I was kind of using my my current situation of having a tooth pulled a few days ago as part of the imagination. So Baba was holding me and just kind of I was imagining what it would be like, because I read in so many books, Baba would come over to someone who was having a fever or whatever and give them some juice or something like that and tell them they're going to be okay. So I kind of imagined him doing something like that. And and then I got a little bit sad because I was like, Baba, you're just going to leave now. And he was like, yeah, but I'm just here to remind you that I'm in you. Yeah, it's just a reminder, I'm not actually here to come or leave.
So beautiful. Well, we'll bring this night to a close, and I'm going to let everyone know that Radiant Health is going to continue. It's going to start again on December 8th and it's going to go in 5-session series. But there's an artist that comes once a month, so that's why they're not directly back to back. And the theme that's come for that one is the Australian Artie, and each of the 5 sessions is going to take one of the 5 stanzas and immerse ourselves in the healing light of that. And so if you know anyone that knows anything specific about the Australian Artie or whatever that means to you, to bring for that. And so you're very welcome to attend those as well. I'm going to stop recording.